So, if you were to walk in a straight line down the middle of Westeros, geography willing of course, you'd encounter the land's three biggest choke points. The Wall to the north, the Red Mountains of Dorne to the south, and the Neck at almost the halfway point. In various times of war, all three have been put to use defensively with enormous success. Today, however, we're going to focus on the history of the Neck and its people, and then take a more literary dive into House Reed's place in our story. So, let's take a look. First, we have to go back 12,000 years before the current events of the story. When the first men came to Westeros from Essos, they did so on a land bridge called the Arm of Dorne. However, because the Children of the Forest who already occupied the continent were not keen on the new invaders defiling their land, they said hell no to these guys and used magic to smash apart the land connecting to Essos. While this did stem the flow of first men crossing over, the ones that were already there overpowered the Children of the Forest with their superior weapons and size. In a desperate attempt to this time cut themselves off from the foreigners, the children retreated north and tried to again put an ocean between them and their new enemies. However, the two land masses wouldn't quite sever this time, instead creating a marshland now known as the Neck. Eventually, after a few thousand years of war, the fighting between the two groups calmed down, and an agreed-upon treaty was formed. This pact worked so well that they even became quite friendly with each other, sharing not only the land, but also their traditions. It's worth noting that these strides towards a peaceful integration were probably only possible thanks to a group of first men settling at the Neck with the intent to learn from the children, not fight them. These outliers remained especially close with the Children of the Forest, and became known as the crannogmen. Although the Children of the Forest mysteriously began to disappear further and further north following the events of the Long Night and another mass immigration of humans known as the Andal invasion, the crannogmen stayed loyal to their fellow First Men by swearing fealty to House Stark, and are rumored to still hold on to the magical teachings of the now long-gone Children of the Forest. House Reed and the other families of the Neck continue to guard the north from land invasion. Swampy and harsh as it is, they make their home where their ancestors first broke bread with the Westerosi natives. Unlike Harry Potter, where magic is woven heavily into every single part of the setting, and Lord of the Rings, where a magic object is central to the plot at all times, A Song of Ice and Fire's magic is much more peripheral. A good 90% of what happens is driven by non-magical elements like politics and character motivations, and the setting is one where most characters regard it as questionable superstition. Because of this, House Reed and the crannogmen are effectively a fantasy anchor. They are one of the few things, especially towards the beginning of the story, that's slowly pulling back the curtain about this world's supernatural secrets. When Bran first shows signs of having powers, you as the reader know that something weird is going on, but it isn't until Jojen turns up and explains warging and greensight that this idea goes from ambiguous to a form of magic with its own rules and limitations. We as the readers now know how to recognize and put a name to these powers whenever we see them come up again. For example, with this information, we know Arya isn't just dreaming of Nymeria because she misses her, or has unresolved guilt about them parting ways. She's using a form of magic to directly access her mind and see through her. Along with serving this important literary purpose to a fantasy story, the Reeds also serve an emotional one. They are the Starks' most loyal allies and protectors. Howland Reed once saved Ned's life in his fight with the far superior swordsman Arthur Dayne, and Meera, well, Meera is just flat out one of the most unsung heroes in the entire story. Being the only one that knew how to hunt for food, fight, and navigate the terrain, she both figuratively and literally carried their trip north. Without her, Jojen, Bran, and Hodor would probably be dead in a ditch somewhere. Even after the fall of House Stark, the Reeds dedicate themselves to making life hard for the enemies of the North in whatever way they can. They are an important human counterbalance to what can often be a very dark story. Backstabbers abound in this world, but so do friends in unexpected places. The Reeds are, in more ways than one, the Anti-Boltons. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Spear those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this little lore and analysis video, and let me know who you'd be interested in looking at next time in the comments. Also, if you'd like to further support the channel, check out my Patreon where you can earn some sweet rewards for donating. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.